What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm talking about Between the Temples. This was submitted for my consideration for awards this year and also just dropped on Netflix with audio description. So I saw that it had a date and I waited so that I could get accessibility because Sony Pictures Classics through their FYC platform does not have accessibility. And I figured, why not? Interestingly, this was also on the Apple Store without audio description, so it was kind of a gamble because I could have been waiting this whole time, and then there could have been no audio description, which would have been hilarious. And then I would have just watched the movie and reviewed it anyway, and been like, "Well, fuck you, Sony, fuck you in your temples." But I really enjoyed this movie. This is Jason Schwartzman and Carol Kane for the most part. Um, and Jason plays a rabbi who is helping Carol Kane through her bat mitzvah um, at her age, which is kind of the joke, the whole gag that like her family can't believe, and they're like, "You're not even Jewish," and she's like, "Well, my grandfather was," and they're like, "But that doesn't even count. Like what, you know?" And it's just that's what she wants to do. That's how she wants to spend her life. Who cares? Who gives a shit? You know what I'm saying? Like she's in her twilight years. Let her do what she wants to do. If she wants to have a bat mitzvah, if she wants to make sure that she's confirmed through the Jewish faith, then let her do that. You know. Um, First, I was looking at her family, and they were like, uh, you know, uh, these people who were like, "Oh, well, we're right, I'm agnostic, I'm atheist, or whatever, and that's why we don't support it." I'm like, so if she was getting baptized, you wouldn't have a problem with that. If she was like, "By the way, I was never baptized, and I really want to be baptized," you wouldn't be like, "Oh, well, that makes sense." You know what I'm saying? Like, really? Because I think that would have been an interesting parallel. Would have been to see that family, and sort of the continuing commentary, the awkwardness of some of these conversations that Schwartzman sits in with the guy that's like, uh, I can't remember what he said, but he made something, and Jason's just like, "So am I." Um, it's uh, it's very It's very quirky. I really enjoyed this. I did not know what this was going to be, but Carol Kane's been picking up some awards attention for it, and I thought she was lovely. It's a very, it's a nice little performance. And if I thought more people were watching this film, I absolutely would vote for her. But I just don't think that many people are watching Between the Temples, which is sad. This feels like one of the lost great performances of the year, sort of like we're gonna get from like Joan Chen and Dee Dee, where it's just gonna fall by the wayside. You know, people talked about it for a little while, and they're like, nah, not enough people saw that movie. Natasha Lyonne and his three daughters, not enough people saw that movie. So this is where it sort of falls away, and why having a good ground campaign from the beginning really matters, and having people who are getting out there and talking about you nonstop, you know, um, and getting the word out. If you wait until sort of after the iron's hot and people are already, Zoe Saldanaing their way through life, being like, it's her time. Is it? Is it her time? um, what in her body of work makes you think it's her time? Anyway, um, but I mean, great for her to get a nomination, sure. Uh, yeah, it's this. I just kind of wish we had jumped on this a little bit earlier. I wish people were talking a little bit more about Between the Temples. I wish Sony Pictures Classics didn't wait until the dead end of everything to throw an awards campaign at it. I actually really like Jason Schwartzman in this too, but Jason has been in fucking everything this year. Like he's in Megalopolis, he's in The Last Showgirl, he's in something else too. Like I think this man has been ubiquitous, just like popping in and out of movies. Oh, he's in Queer. He is in something else this year. So it's the year of Schwartz. He is all over the place. There's probably a fifth film out there. I've just named 4 films that he was in. There's probably a fifth one. So, um, but I thought he was funny here. He's a rabbi and he's working his way through this interesting situation. He also has this I'm gonna go with love interest because he has somebody obviously in the past and it didn't work out. And um there's a scene that is so bizarre where he's sitting in the car with this new girl and she's listening to these messages and they're so obscene and she's like going through them and I'm like, what is this? What is happening? So I I didn't know enough about Between the Temples going into it, but I thought it was cute. I thought it was funny. It was a comedy, and I felt like it was an unexpected comedy that somebody hadn't told me about, and not enough critics had gotten behind or anything like that. So I really felt like I uncovered a gem here, and Between the Temples quickly like rose up my list, and I was like, yes, thank you. But I felt that a couple times this year where I felt like I've watched something that nobody else is talking about and I'm like, this is really good. Why is nobody talking about Treasure or Firebrand? You know, like where did these films come from? You know, what happened? So sometimes we get so caught up, especially on YouTube, if you look at YouTube critics, with just watching whatever is number one at the box office and their entire YouTube channels that are devoted to just the biggest movie at the time, the movie that has millions of YouTube reviews. Everybody is like, man, we got to get on top and make sure that we get our review out for Deadpool and Wolverine right now. But then an indie movie opens the same weekend, and like, who reviews it? Not the people with 2 million subscribers. And so nobody really hears about that movie. But it might actually be the better movie of the weekend, you know? Take a swing. You know, if you want to review movies, feel free to review some indies and put them out there to the world and stand by them, and have the courage to use your following to say, hey, there's this little movie and it's great, you know, or review something and be like, this the little movie didn't work, but uh, better luck next time. But I just wish Between the Temples had more of that, because maybe it would have had the kind of love. Maybe it wouldn't have just a couple of random Carol Kane mentions throughout the year. But she's delightful here, and so is Jason, and I really like this movie. I thought the audio description was really good. It's not difficult. It's mostly it's modern day. It's like an ensemble. They're all wearing just sort of like regular clothes. So there's nothing that's like overtly difficult here. Nobody has like a fever dream or anything like that. That I was like, ooh, it's a big swing. So I was able to follow the movie perfectly and enjoy it. So it was a highly functional audio description that gave me exactly what I needed. Um, yeah, I recommend Between the Temples. This was a pleasant surprise for me. And it's on Netflix now, and I liked it better than some of the other stuff that SPC is pushing for awards. I wish this had been something that they had taken seriously. Although sometimes the Oscars just they just don't look at comedy, you know. And this film leans more comedy than it does anything else, any other genre. I mean, it's not like a riot laugh, you know, but it is. If I'm narrowing the field, comedy as a genre. Anyway, I'm gonna give Between the Temples. I'm gonna give it an A. Yeah, it put a smile on my face the whole way through. So, just a delightful, just sort of like out of nowhere. I was like, oh wow, I really like this movie. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.